There are people walking this earth who smile, but inside, they're barely surviving. They get up every day not because they have hope, but because they've run out of the strength to even fight back. Their hearts have become museums of pain, each memory framed like a photo that never fades. Some are trapped not in prisons made of steel, but in the invisible shackles of their past. They go through life remembering the words that broke them, the betrayals that shattered their trust, and the days they begged Allah for relief. But the silence echoed louder than answers. And so they keep pretending they're okay, pretending they don't cry when no one's looking, pretending they have faith when deep down, they're just tired, exhausted by the weight of what they carry. But here's the part many don't realize. It's not just the past that wounds them. It's the subconscious mind, that inner voice that plays on repeat, reminding them they're not good enough, not worthy, not capable. They keep reliving moments they should have let go of, regrets they should have forgiven themselves for. But trauma has a memory, and pain is sticky. And the longer you hold on to the past, the more it begins to shape your today and your tomorrow. They fear their future because their yesterday still controls them. But what if I told you Allah does not abandon the broken? What if I told you that in every shattered heart there is a doorway to divine healing? What if I told you the people who cry alone at night are the very ones Allah is closest to? Let's begin the journey. There's a reason Allah repeats one message over and over again in the Quran. Indeed, Allah is with the patient ones, not ahead of them, not watching from afar, but with them. Patience. That word gets thrown around so easily, yet it's the hardest to live by when your chest is tight with uncertainty. Imagine the girl whose heart was shattered after being abandoned. She prayed every night for healing, but the nights only got darker. She asked for a sign, for something, anything that would show her that Allah was still with her. But instead, the silence only grew louder. She waited and waited. And when the healing didn't come on her terms, doubt crept in like poison. Maybe Allah doesn't love me anymore. Maybe I'm too sinful to be answered. Maybe I'm just forgotten. But she didn't realize that sometimes Allah delays the healing, not to punish, but to elevate. Because patience isn't about standing still. It's about walking in the dark and still choosing to trust. It's about tears streaming down your face, and yet you whisper, Alhamdulillah anyway. It's about sitting beside your grief and saying, Ya Allah, I don't understand, but I surrender. That's when you're closest to Allah. That's when the gates of the unseen begin to shift. You see, patience isn't weakness. It's one of the strongest forms of worship. It's proof that even when the dunya offers no clarity, your heart still clings to your Rabb. And you know what the most beautiful part is? Allah never wastes your pain. Every second you cried, every moment you thought you were forgotten, every sleepless night you begged Him, they were recorded by the one who never sleeps. And His promise? Indeed, with hardship comes ease. Not after, but with. That means even now, even in your storm, there's a hidden seed of relief being watered by your tears. You may not see it yet, but the one who created your heart knows exactly how to heal it. So don't rush the process. Don't fear the future just because your present hurts. Allah has already written something beautiful for you. Your job? Stay patient, stay faithful. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, because He is with you, and His presence is the greatest healing of all. You trusted someone. You gave them your loyalty, your time, your energy, your heart, and then, Just like that, they walked away. Maybe they didn't even look back. And in that moment, something inside you cracked. Not just because of the betrayal, but because you never thought it would come from them. And so, you build walls. You promise yourself you'll never trust again. You smile in public, but the tears behind the smile are real. You hear people say, "Trust Allah," and you nod. But deep down, you're wondering, why would He let them break me in the first place? Let me tell you something most people never hear. Sometimes Allah allows someone to break your heart so He can remove them from your life before they break your soul. Because He saw what you couldn't see. He heard the conversations you weren't in. He knew the intentions hidden behind the sweet words. He protected you, not by making it easy, but by making it end. And now, you're here, struggling to breathe, but also free. Do you know what happens when people let you down? It forces you to turn upwards, to the only one who never betrays, the only one who listens even when your dua is made in broken whispers, the only one who sees the cracks in your heart and doesn't walk away but begins to mend them. You were never meant to depend on people for your happiness. You were never created to find your worth in others. Your soul was crafted to know Him, to love Him, to rely on Him. And yes, it's okay to feel hurt, to grieve the loss, but don't live in the prison of their absence when Allah is offering you the palace of His closeness. So if the world made you feel unworthy, remember who created you. If they made you feel replaceable, remember Allah made you irreplaceable. If they made you doubt your value, let your worth be defined by the one who calls you Abdi, my servant. You are not what they did to you. You are not the scars they left behind. You are so much more, because you belong to the one who never forgets, never fails, never lets go. So don't fear who left. Rejoice in who remained.
There are moments in life that leave you speechless. Not in awe, but in agony. Moments where you look up at the sky and whisper, "Why me?" You planned everything. You worked hard. You prayed. You were sincere. But the outcome was silence. Or worse, the complete opposite of what you hoped for. And now, you're left sitting in a room full of dreams shattered. The people you trusted, they left. The job you fought for, it's gone. The dua you cried for every night, unanswered, or so it seems. It's in these moments that Shaitan tries the hardest. He whispers, "Look, your prayers didn't work. Your patience was wasted. Your God has forgotten you." But that's a lie, because the one who created your heart knows exactly how to mend it. He knows the path you don't see. He hears every sigh, every tear, every silent cry in the middle of the night. You were never forgotten. The story of Prophet Musa alayhi salam reminds us of that. He stood at the edge of the sea. Behind him, Pharaoh's army. In front, the crashing waves of the Red Sea. No boat, no bridge, no escape. People around him panicked. "We're done for," they cried. But he said, "Never. My Lord is with me. He will guide me." And he did. He split the sea for him. What does that tell you? That when things don't make sense, when you feel cornered, when there's no visible way out, Allah doesn't need logic. He doesn't need tools. He doesn't need your plan. He is the plan. So when your world seems to fall apart, perhaps it's not falling apart. Perhaps it's falling into place. Maybe that door slammed shut because the room beyond it would have destroyed you. Maybe that heartbreak saved your faith. Maybe the delay in your dua is because Allah is rewriting your story in a way that will leave you in tears, not of pain, but of gratitude. But that requires trust. Not partial trust, not temporary trust. It requires surrender. The kind of surrender that says, even if I don't understand, I believe you are writing something better for me. If you can trust the process even when you can't see the plan, then you've already won. Because real peace isn't in the outcome. It's in knowing that the one who controls your outcome loves you more than your own mother ever could. Have you ever felt invisible? Like you're screaming for help, but no one hears. Smiling in public, but crying in sujood. You walk into a room and no one sees the war you're fighting inside. You scroll through messages and realize no one's checked in for days. And you think, does anyone care? But there's a verse in the Quran, soft and beautiful, that wraps around the broken heart like a warm blanket. Indeed, Allah is with those who are patient. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 253. He is with you. Not just watching you, not just aware of you, with you. In your darkness, in your tears, in the depths of that pain no one else understands. He is with you. People may leave. They often do. They grow tired, they misunderstand, they walk away when you're too much or not enough. But your Rabb, He never leaves. Do you know what that means? It means that even when your own family misunderstands you, even when your closest friend doesn't see your worth, even when the world labels you, mocks you, forgets you, He doesn't. He sees every effort you make to hold on to your deen when it's easier to let go. He sees you delete messages you could have sent out of anger. He sees you turn away from sin when no one else would have known. He sees you praying through tears even when you feel empty inside. That's not weakness. That's worship. That's a soul being carved and reshaped by trials, not to break, but to rise. You see, Allah sometimes strips you of people so you remember who's always been there. He closes doors so you knock harder on His. He withholds the world so you long for Jannah. So if you feel abandoned by people, don't despair. Maybe you weren't abandoned. Maybe you were chosen. Chosen for something higher, deeper, eternal. A person once asked, "How do I know Allah still loves me?" And the answer was this: if you're still turning to Him, still making dua, still holding on to your salah, then what more proof do you need? You are not lost. You are being guided, gently, lovingly, even through the fire. Just hold on. Your Rabb hasn't brought you this far to leave you here. And perhaps the very thing you think is breaking you right now is the exact thing He's using to build you into something you never imagined. There's something beautiful about silence. Not the kind that comes from loneliness, but the silence of sujood, when the world melts away, and it's just you and the one who holds the future in His hands. We live in a world obsessed with predictions, forecasts, timelines, plans. We're taught from a young age to obsess over the future. What will you become? What if it doesn't work out? What if you fail? But here's the truth most people never grasp. The future doesn't exist in the outside world. It lives inside you, right here, right now, in this moment. The Quran tells us stories not to entertain us, but to awaken something inside us, to remind us that the unseen is more real than the seen. That Allah has written every moment of your life, and every delay, every detour, every heartbreak has divine fingerprints on it. When we talk about creating your future, We're not speaking of manifesting material success in a worldly way. We're speaking of aligning your heart with the promise of your Creator. He said in the Quran, "I am as my servant thinks of me." So if you think He is merciful, He will be. If you think He will rescue you, He will. If you believe your future will be filled with light, barakah, and purpose, then it will be. But it starts with your thoughts, because your thoughts become your beliefs. Your beliefs shape your actions, and your actions create your future. But here's where most people get stuck. They try to create a new future using a broken past. They replay every failure. They carry the wounds of people who hurt them. They build dreams on top of fear, and they wonder why nothing changes. But the Quran shows us again and again that transformation begins when we detach from what was and trust in what can be. Imagine Maryam alayhi salam, alone, in pain, under a palm tree, pregnant, accused, rejected. She says, "I wish I had died before this." And in that moment of darkness, what does Allah do? He brings forth a miracle. A river under her, dates from above, comfort from the heavens. That's the quantum field of divine mercy, where the impossible becomes real, where the unseen becomes reality, where the future is not something you chase, but something that unfolds once you surrender. But surrender doesn't mean laziness. It means that while you plant the seeds, you trust that the rain will come, even if the skies are clear. It means you show up with excellence and leave the outcome to the one who sees your struggle in secret. Your job is not to figure out how the doors will open. Your job is to knock, to pray, to prepare your heart, to believe with every cell in your body that your Lord is capable of all things. You're not weak. You've just forgotten where your strength comes from. It comes from the one who said, "Is not Allah sufficient for His servant?" Surah Az-Zumar, verse 36. You don't need to know the full map. You only need to take the next step, in faith, not fear. Do you want a future filled with purpose? Then stop rehearsing the pain of the past. Stop fearing what you don't know. Start building your inner world with zikr, with gratitude, with hope. When you do that, the world outside begins to change. That's the real quantum field. It's not science fiction, it's divine reality, where the smallest shift in your heart can change the entire course of your life. And if your heart is anchored in Allah, then there is no fear. Only peace, only light, only barakah, from places you never imagined. Look back at your life for a moment, not with shame, not with regret, but with understanding. Every moment that broke you, every person that left you, every delay, every tear, every silent dua in the stillness of the night, it was never in vain. It was preparation. It was purification. It was love in a form your heart didn't yet understand. Allah does not waste the pain of the patient. You were never meant to stay broken. You were meant to rise. Like the Prophet Ayyub alayhi salam, who lost everything, health, wealth, family, and still said, "Indeed, adversity has touched me, and you are the most merciful of the merciful." And from that patience came healing, came restoration, came more than what he had before. So why fear? Why tremble at what lies ahead when you know who walks with you? The future is not built by force. It's carved in sujud. It's whispered in dua. It's watered with sabr. Your future does not belong to anxiety. It belongs to Allah.
And He has promised something remarkable to those who are patient. Not only relief, not only peace, but rewards beyond what they can even imagine. Indeed, the patient will be given their reward without account. Surah Az-Zumar 39:10. No calculator can measure it. No human mind can grasp it. You may be walking through uncertainty now. You may not know how this chapter ends, but that's the beauty of this journey. Allah writes the most beautiful endings for those who trust Him in the middle. So breathe. Lift your gaze. Hold your head high, not with arrogance, but with yaqeen, certainty. Because your Rabb has not forgotten you. He sees you. He hears you. He knows what you carry. And He is preparing something better than what you're praying for. You don't need to chase what's written for you. You just need to become the version of yourself that's ready to receive it. So walk forward. Walk with tawakkul. Walk with light in your chest. Walk with the Quran in your heart and the name of Allah on your tongue. Because the future, the real future, belongs to those who are patient. And if you are patient, and if you are grateful, then Allah has promised, I will surely increase you. Surah Ibrahim 14:7. And when He increases you, there is no limit. There is only light, only mercy, only victory. So do not fear for your future. Just prepare your soul and walk into it with Him.